England won.
Every time we say we're going to go live, right, Michael decides to talk. All right. So, cheers, man. So we are actually live. It is the Sunday Bunch. We're on SAFC Fan TV. And with myself, Wee Philly. Tonight, we have Michael Bowers. We got The Mad Mistake. We got Dino. We got Jacob Kirkbride. And we have Shaun Middleton. All right. The crew back together. All right. On here for more chat on a Sunday night. And you can join us. We are live. So if you want to join us in the live chat, please contribute, and we'll do our best to try and answer any questions you have already. Matthew Lead, we'll give a shout out to him. One Rovers Vlogs, Charlie there, hi to you, and Thane as well, all friends of the show. And Wayne Duran, hi lads, hi to you. And of course, we got to say hello to the Trinidad Macam.
Wow,
nice one. Right then, so England have just beaten Belgium 2-1. If you've been listening to the Mad Mistakes commentary on his channel, I had a little listen while I was having a number 2, and then
lovely.
So where we're going to start is because there was the international this weekend, it meant that Sunderland's game yesterday against Blackpool was postponed. So I want to get your opinions on postponing games, because obviously Sunderland's team is full of internationals, which is why we couldn't play. And I think it sort of bit us on the bum a couple of seasons ago when we had all these games in hand and it was looking good. And then we went and lost the games in hand, and, fixtures stack up. So, Mad Mistake, what do you reckon to postponing these games for the internationals?
I think it's absolutely shocking. I think it's a terrible decision. We've got plenty of backup to play these matches and take 3 points. It's a ridiculous decision. It's just pussying out of playing football for me. Parkinson's, I don't understand why you want to just postpone a match and go. Now, we're now 5 points behind. We've got a game in hand, but it makes no difference about games in hand because we've only got a massive squad. So, as in, we could have players who are injured in the future. We would have lost Flanagan anyway through a red card. McLaughlin is only a fringe player, and the Kosovoian again is only a fringe player. So we've really only lost Flanagan, which who we would have lost in the first place. We have backup who can come in. Luke O'Neill played at centre back against Carlisle, and it was fantastic during the week. Fantastic utility player. We've got plenty of players to play against these sides in League One. At home, we should be taking the points, and I'm very disappointed that we've postponed matches and now we're getting further behind. And do we postpone more matches and then have to fill them all in the back end of the season when there's loads of games to be played and we could have injuries? For me, it's beyond beggar's belief that Phil Parkinson, Stuart Donald are letting this happen. It's just my opinion only, but I think it's ridiculous postponing any matches for fringe players.
Well, your opinion's as good as anyone else's. Quickly on the live chat down here, Thane says, Terry, how was your food, mate? Thumbs up, which is surprising because I think he made it himself, didn't he? Lauren Kenny, who we had on Thursday, says hi.
Hello.
Hi to you. Umar Macam FC, hello to you as well. Gary Talbot down here says, any more news on the takeover, lads? There is something we're going to mention shortly about that. So moving on to Dino, cancelling, postponing games because of internationals. Are you for or against it?
Against it. I mean, are we the only team in this league who have to do that now? I mean, like Mad Mistake says, I mean, it's only Conor McLaughlin, Tom Flanagan, and Jamali. Jamali hasn't even played a game yet. McLaughlin, like you say, is always on the bench. He never gets on. And Tom Flanagan, like Mad Mistake said, he's suspended. So there is no need to postpone. But who makes the final decision? Is it the manager or is it Stuart Donald? I mean, if it's the manager, that just shows he's got no faith in the players who would come in. So he's got no faith in the squad. But it does it because we'll be playing catch-up all season from now on, and that's what happened in the first season, and that's what cost me in the end. But no, we shouldn't be cancelling games. We should just be playing with the rest of the league, and then we've got no excuses. This gives we an excuse to say, oh, it was because we were catching up. It's just an excuse for us to why we don't get promoted this season if it happens. Are you all right, Phil? You keep nodding your head and shaking. I don't know what you're doing.
It's me. Are you talking to me here?
Yeah, you were sitting there going.
No, it's just I'm trying to read the chat with one eye and trying to look at what you're saying as well. So I'm like, my eyes are going like that.
Trying to multitask, basically.
Right then, Jacob. Then postponing matches because of the international games. What are your thoughts on it?
Personally, I'm against it, like what Dino was saying, because I'm all for giving youngsters a chance, because I feel like our club needs like restructuring in that department, like giving these players the trust in order to come into the first team and do a job. But looking at it because I think it's a lot of defensive players that were called up to international duty. I can understand why Parkinson did it. I can't pronounce the guy's name who's with, what's his name? Kosovo. But it's not because he's been he got injured on international duty, didn't he? So we're now relying massively on the back three that Parkinson's currently playing to stay fit. Tom Flanagan never gets a game for Northern Ireland, rarely does. I don't know whether did Bailey Wright get called up to Australia?
Nope.
No, he didn't. So there you go. That, because I still think that Blackpool game could have been played, like was it Dino was saying, it's just squashed together the fixture schedule over the festive. It's going to be squashed together over the festive period now, because I think they've rescheduled it for December, and the more international weekends that there's going to be more games postponed and they'll be played towards the back end of the season where we need players fully fit. So yeah, I'm against it personally. That Blackpool game should have been played, but I can understand why Parkinson has decided to do it, because he doesn't change.
On the chat, was that me again?
That's you.
What do I sound like now? Do I sound?
All right.
No, sound okay now.
Do I sound sexy? Do you want my?
I thought it was a dog barking.
Oh, I love the ladies and all that. Right.
Yes, thank you, Phil.
Sorry about that. I just like to give you a mental picture in your head. Right. So, Taffy Mackham on the chat. Hi, Taffy Mackham says he dreads Southgate calling up Charlie Wyke. Can't see that happening anytime soon. So on to Michael. These postponements for international weekends, and we should have been playing Blackpool. However, Blackpool still played yesterday against Ipswich, and I believe you know how that happened. So do you want to explain that as well?
As far as I'm aware, I think it was because Charlton was supposed to play Ipswich yesterday, and Charlton, I think, had 3 internationals called up. I'm pretty certain that they did. So the Ipswich-Charlton game was postponed as well for the same reason that our game against Blackpool was. So I would imagine, I think Blackpool and Ipswich just made the decision to bring that fixture forward and just play it yesterday. That's reading between the lines. That's what it looks like anyway.
But with that happening, I mean, I don't see the point, because they're going to have a blank. They're going to, on the day they were supposed to play, then they're not going to have a game. So I don't see the point of doing that. Anyway, what's your thoughts on postponing games for an international weekend?
Well, your guess is as good as mine on that one you've mentioned. For internationals, I'm used to it by now. It seems like every time we have any internationals that are going to get called up, we seem to just postpone it. I wasn't particularly in favour of it. I'm with Jacob. I can kind of see why Parkinson did it. I think if Feeney, for example, hadn't got injured, I think we probably would have gone ahead with the Blackpool game. But then you could say, well, Brandon Taylor, as an example, I know apparently he didn't do the best against Carlisle. Correct me, anyone who actually watched the game, if he actually did all right.
I did not watch this.
Go on then. How did Brandon Taylor do then?
I wasn't very impressed, to be honest. I was more impressed with Luke O'Neill.
Okay, fair enough.
Luke O'Neill played better in the centre back than Brandon Taylor for me on that particular game.
But I mean, surely, like, if Brandon Taylor's not going to be ready to do it for Sunderland in League One, he's never going to be ready to do it here. So, like, for me, I think even could you really have had him in there for one game if you had Wright and Willis there? And probably one of the reasons he probably wouldn't have done as well against Carlisle is because Luke O'Nien, who isn't a centre half, is playing centre half. If he's going alongside Bailey Wright and Jordan Willis, both of whom are very, very good defenders for this level, he could be protected. It's proved the case with Flanagan. And I'm Marmite with Flanagan. So as far as I'm not bothered. I'm not surprised that Parkinson postponed the game. My only annoyance is that Blackpool haven't made a good start to the season. I think we could have done with playing them now. Whereas when we play Blackpool in December, they could be on a really, really good run then. Now, obviously, I do believe Sunderland should have the quality to beat Blackpool regardless, but like everyone said, it's just gonna have a load of fixtures later on down the line, and I'm pretty sure after now in the coming months, our fixture list is going to be rammed anyway. So we definitely need another midweek fixture. Brilliant, well done.
Well, good point, well made. Right, before we go to you, Shaun, then Madam Stay wants to quickly get in there.
I think Stuart Donald deserves what he gets this season, mind. If we don't get promoted this season, it's Stuart Donald's fault and nobody else, and he deserves what he gets. Is that what you've
interrupted us for? Hey, man.
Yes, I have.
Right, on the live chat, Thane, totally agree. Here's the games in hand because we never take advantage of them. Taffy Mackham, points in the bag, better than games in hand all day, which is very true. Thane says Bailey Wright is out of favour with Australia at the moment, which is a good thing, I suppose. Thane is also congratulating One Rovers vlog, Charlie, on beating Lincoln yesterday.
Yes,
we will we'll come to that in a bit because we're going to have a look at the fixtures over the weekend. Just before we go to Shaun, how many internationals in your Arsenal team, Jacob?
I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. I don't know what Terry's doing.
So, Shaun, international weekends. What are your views on postponing these games?
Well, I think it's just something we've just got to get used to. I mean, it's not ideal, it's not great, but I mean, looking at the table, me and Michael were discussing it yesterday in the WhatsApp group. It wasn't actually too bad. The results, I think, was 7th, and Hull obviously they got beat, so that was a good result. But I'm not one for these cancellations. But over the course of the season, your squad they show you how good you are, and how many games you cancel. I think that's just another excuse. So, even if we cancel 6-7 games and we've got to play them back, it's tough for you. We've got to get on with it. And that's for me, it's just another excuse for people to say, oh, well, there was these fixtures, there's that fixture. Bollocks, absolute bullshit. We haven't went up last 2 years, not because of that, because we haven't been good enough. Simple as that. Simple as that. Facts. We haven't been good enough. And people can say what they want. Parkinson can cancel that many games, and we're still not going to. But end of the day, then players on the pitch, they've got to do the business. And over the last 2 years, we haven't been good enough. But like you say, the results didn't go too bad for us yesterday. I think Ipswich, obviously, they're playing well. They won again yesterday, but I mean, Hull getting beat, that was a good result. Lincoln, I think they were winning at half time. But
I'm gonna sec Shaun. We're gonna go into all this in a segment. We're gonna do them in a bit. The scores from yesterday. All right. Hello, speak to me. Cheers, pal.
I don't think it's ideal, but at the end of the day, I'm never going to use that as an excuse. Then players that different squads in other leagues have got to deal with cancellations, and they've got to, and the day the players on that pitch what have got to perform and get the results to get us promoted. I just thought that's not going to be another silly excuse from, well, not so much to supporters, but obviously the players as well, because end of the day, we've just got to get on it, and there might be even more. There's probably going to be more coming up as well, but It's a squad you've got to deal with.
Well, definitely. As Taffy Mackham says, points in the bag are better than games in hand. But I don't know if you lot are like me, when you look at the table and you've got a game in hand, you say, "Oh, great, all right, we're 5 points behind." But actually, we'll be two points behind because we've got a game in hand. Because you automatically see it as 3 points, and it's absolutely not the case. Quickly on the live chat, Colin Major says, "Ask Terry about the Mackham rap." And what do you think, Philly? Mad mistake. The Mackham rap?
Well, apparently Colin Major wants to start to do with the Liverpool rap of the ages from the 80s. Remember the Liverpool rap from the 80s?
Yeah.
Anfield rap, man.
The Anfield rap, yeah.
Us six could do some sort of version of the Mackham rap instead.
All right, okay. I suppose we could do with that. I mean, we're all good singers. We're all it's only you can sing, Terry. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure
sing.
we can rap because rapping is just talking, isn't it? So I'm sure we can.
Well, let's see if we can. Let's see what would look like. Dino, just turn your hat like a rapper would. Turn your hat round. That's it. There you go, my way. Oh, there you go. The Mackham rappers. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I need me hat. Oh, there you go.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, nice one, Jacob.
Oh.
Hang on. There you
Oh.
That's not the same.
Hey, woo!
Yes.
That's the best you're getting out of me. There you go.
You do. What's that?
There
The
you
Deli Alley.
Whichever one you want. Woo!
What? You mean
Anyway,
this?
right.
There you go.
Right.
That's
where
John
was I?
Joe Show,
Getting distracted. Right then. So I think we all sort of agree that suspending, postponing the games on international weekends is probably not a good idea. Just very quickly, once again, on the chat, David Harris, fun question down here. If you could have any 5 players, Sunderland players, around your house for a party, past or present, who would you choose? So instead of going for 5, I'll take 1 player from each of you 5, and those 5 we would have around our house for a party. Michael Bowers, any Sunderland player, past or present, who'd be good at a party?
Luke 09. Just what a guy. Enough said.
Luke 09. All the girlies would be fancying him. Jacob?
I would have seen him.
I'll go for Kenwyn Jones because I'd want a dance floor and I want them there to be a dance off at the end of the night.
He really would do break dancing.
Yeah.
We're going to see the Ken
Doing
win.
the flips.
Shaun, any player, past or present, could come to your party.
Brian Clough, 100%. Absolutely. No,
What a party this is.
Make you laugh all night long. And you have a good time as well.
I think.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Dino?
Aaron Nosworthy.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Nugsy. Get Nugsy round.
Nugsy used to live in Nugsy used to live in the flat above my flat, and it was very noisy with his music. Mad mistake.
Niall Quinn's disco pants.
Hey.
Best they go up from his arse to his chest. They are better than the ants.
Niall Quinn's
disco
pants.
Right. Right. So there you go, David Harris. 5 players. What can
you, Philly? What about you?
me? Oh, I don't know. I'd just invite myself.
Jibril Cisse will be a good option for you, Phil.
was only allowed 5, so I'm not allowed to invite anybody. It's my party, so you lot are coming around. I've only got 5. I've only got 5 chairs.
Groups of 6, remember?
Right then, let's go on to yesterday's results then. So our match was postponed, and was all watching the games and how the results went. And for me, I don't think it went that bad. We was in 4th place at the start of play yesterday, and we dropped down to 7th. But we got a game in hand over all the teams above us. Ipswich got a 4-1 win at Blackpool.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest upset has got to probably be Lincoln, who were top of the league at home to Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
Any standout games, standout results for you from yesterday? Shaun, we'll start with you.
Well, that was obviously the Lincoln game. I think they were top, or they were near the top anyway. They were winning half time, and I thought, oh, they're gonna stay the top two. But obviously, Bristol Rovers come back and won 2-1. Portsmouth, I think, winning 2-1 against MK Dons. That was, you would expect that. Swindon and Wimbledon. Swindon obviously got beat of Wimbledon 1-0.
Wimbledon, yeah.
Crewe beating Wigan 3-0. That was a bit of a. And we've had this discussion before, but Wigan have lost a few players, haven't they? Let's be honest.
They won't be happy about that.
No, definitely not.
Oh God.
Those heartbroken.
Beating Rochdale 2-1. I think that was a good result. But yeah, the surprise package for me, looking at the tables. You look at the tables now. Gillingham 4 from top. And they beat Oxford 3-1. So that was my shock result of League One for the weekend.
Right, okay. Quickly back to the live chat. Lauren, who was on Thursday, says Shaun secretly wants Max Power.
Max Power.
Nancy says Defoe. These are for invites to your party. Macalon Allen says Cisse, he's a DJ. Well, that's not allowed because I'm going to be DJing at my party.
Release the DJ.
Exactly. Mad Mistake, you're trying to get in there.
Yeah, I want to ask a question to Shaun. Shaun, if
Yeah.
you were interviewing some fans outside the ground and Max Powell walked up to you and said, Shaun, kiss me on the cheek, would you?
Not him, but a left hook.
Shaun.
Go on, Shaun. Lad. Go
Shaun's
on.
like that with him, man.
Sorry, Max.
The best buddies, man. Right, so the results over the weekend. Not forgetting, of course, Hull City, who played on Friday night. They got beat to Fleetwood. Dino?
Hello.
The results on Saturday, how do you think they went for us?
Well, you can't really go off them going now because it's too early in the season. It's later on where it makes really the difference. Because, like you say, everyone's beating each other. I mean, we predicted Gillingham to be in the bottom half, and look where them are. I mean, Oxford's had a really bad start. I mean, Bristol Rovers has beaten top of the league. So, to be honest, the table at the minute, like, everyone's very inconsistent. So, you can't really go off the results now. I mean, obviously, Wigan's in a bit of a shit state, like, to be honest. I think there's no hope for them this season. I think they're going to have a really bad season. But Ipswich is up there. I wouldn't expect... I've always said Ipswich will be up there. The Doncaster... Why did the Doncaster match get postponed for?
International call-ups.
International call-ups.
Or was it internationals?
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, Peterborough, you'd expect them to beat Northampton. Burton, I think Burton's very underperforming at the minute. They're in the bottom two, and we predicted Burton to be solid mid-table. I mean, yeah, the bottom three. I mean, Oxford, Blackpool, and Burton in the bottom three. I mean, we never predicted any of them to be around there. So still a bit early. Obviously, one win gets you back in the top half. So I'm not too worried about results at the minute. It's when you get to about mid to late on in the season, that's when you start looking. But at the minute, I'm not too worried.
Well, it's that thing of, I mean, you look at Ipswich top of the table, exactly the same start as they had last season, where they were flying, and then they had a horrendous spell, didn't they? Where they
but they'll have the experience now. They've got the experience of last season, so they'll try to make sure that won't happen again.
Oh, you mean like we had the experience last season from the season before?
Well, that's Sunderland. This is Sunderland. Sunderland's a
right,
joke.
quickly on the chat again. Invites for the party down here. Jeff Allcroft says he'd have the Mad Mistake. We would all have the Mad Mistake round. He's the most entertaining gadget on YouTube. Johnny Thorne says got to be Shaun Thornton. He's a bit of a rapper, isn't he? Casey, Cameron, Jude. I'm the same as Michael. I would invite Luke 09. So, Shaun, you want to be in there? Or do you want the toilet?
Apologies about when I said anyone about the left out for Max. I was only joking. It was a joke. I just Jake Collins on Twitter. He's just having a laugh. But sorry, Jake. I was just joking, mate. It was just, you know what I mean. And
what was you joking about?
Because obviously I said when Terry said, "What would you do if Max Power asked you to kiss him on the cheek?" I said, "I'd give him a left hook." I was just joking.
Oh, yeah.
I was just joking.
Oh, you're going to be banned now for a week off the channel for saying things like that. Right, okay. So, Mad Mistake. The results from yesterday. How did you think they went?
Well, obviously Peterborough and Portsmouth. Peterborough is a really dangerous side. Ipswich is a really dangerous side. They both won. On about teams learning from the mistakes. We haven't learned from postponing matches through international duty. We haven't learned. I don't know how someone like Stuart Donald cannot sell the club thinking he can hold on to the side, these shares, but still make the same bloody mistakes as 2 seasons ago. It's just pathetic. It proves how naive the man is. And Phil Parkinson, again, should be playing these matches, man. Blackpool are in dire straits at the moment. We could have beat Blackpool yesterday, all day long. It was an opportunity drop yesterday. I don't care about other matches. Ipswich, yeah, they're going to be up there. They won't make the same mistake as last year because they have people in charge who will learn from the mistakes. We're going to make the same mistakes season in, season out, until Stuart Donald sells the club and disappears. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you very much. I want to say a big thank you to Shaun as well, because he's trying to get us more female viewers on the channel by, if you've noticed, each time he now stands up and flashes his pink shorts. Right, there you go. Hello. There you go. Right, this is an interesting point what's coming in on the live chat. Marley Gibson says he's pretty sure we get a financial payout for postponing the matches due to international games. So if that's the case, if we do get a payout, then, you know, could it be Stuart Donald who's calling the shots? Go on then, Man Mistake. What you want to say?
That's Stuart Donald all over the money greedy. Stuart Donald all over. That's Stuart Donald all over. I'm going to the toilet.
He must have been dying for the loo there.
Apologies for that. The Mad Mistakes had too many red sweets. That's all it is. So, Jacob, then, the results yesterday, how did you think they went for us?
Some mixed ones, definitely Lincoln getting beat, but I agree 100% what Dino's saying. I think right now we're still so early on in the season, like teams are going to have mixed results and we're not going to see which are like going to be shock results or not towards, I would say, like the second half of the season, because right now I think like even League One teams are still adjusting to not having fans coming into the grounds and watching them. Like particularly, I watched a bit of the Fleetwood Hull game on Friday night. I thought Hull would easily get the 3 points, but was it Fleetwood? Very good performance from them, and ended up absolutely smashing them 4-1 at home. Terrific display. That was a shock result. Also, Gillingham winning yesterday as well. They've started the season well, but right now, I think we should just purely focus on what we've got to do when we cross that white line. We can't like control what other results are going to happen.
Exactly.
We've just got to concentrate purely on what we do, win the matches, and simply just get out of the league this season.
Right. Just a quick observation there, Jacob. If you can just move your head, well, to the left, or is it to your right? No, the other way. Well, yeah, that'll do. I noticed that since Michael pointed out you had an AFC Arsenal scarf hanging at the back of you. I noticed that you pulled it down so we can see the SAFC. Well done. Well done. Right. Thane on the chat says Steve Evans doing a good job at Gillingham. I'm not a big fan of the guy. But yeah, doing a decent job. Mad Mistake, you'll like this on the live chat. It's Bobby Cowley says, worst Sunderland manager in the last years. I think he's referring to Phil Parkinson.
Does he not? Is that not
Jack Ross? He means Jack Ross.
David Moyes, Simon Grayson.
Sergeant Wilco.
Have I missed something previous? I don't know. Anyway, right. So, Michael, the results yesterday. I think you've got all the results in front of you, haven't you?
Pretty much on me PS4
the man with the stats. Go on then.
Yeah, I basically just rendered Phil's entire research. Meaningless here by the looks of it. Bless him. As far as the results go, I'm not shocked Fleetwood beat Hull actually, because I think Hull have had a pretty generous start to the season in terms of fixtures. I am shocked at the manner in which they lost because I didn't expect Fleetwood to go and absolutely smash them, but that's a good result. I think Fleetwood are underperforming actually so far. I agree with Dino. Burton definitely are underperforming. I think Lincoln are overperforming. Obviously, there's quite a few teams that are. Ipswich, yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong. Ipswich fans could be telling us that Ipswich is Ipswich. They could end up falling away again. We don't know. There's no real results that absolutely shocked me. Maybe probably Bristol was beating Lincoln. Maybe is the exception. I expected Peterborough to beat Northampton. I expected Portsmouth to beat MK Dons.
Gillingham versus Oxford. I think that was a bit of a shock.
I'm not surprised Gillingham beat Oxford.
Not surprised.
No, I'm not. I think Oxford have started the season really poorly, and Gillingham have started quite well. And Gillingham's actually a pretty difficult game at the moment. By the way, I still expect us to beat Gillingham in a few weeks when we go there, but
Halloween.
I really hope I don't have to do another Gillingham rant like last season. I can't be bothered. But the results didn't go as bad as they probably could have done. I think that, for me, I'm not as bothered if we win the league or not. I just want to get top 2. So I think you've got 4 points with a game in hand, but you have to make that game in hand count when you get to it. And I don't particularly, what I want really ideally before Sunderland get that game in hand is to be within the top 2 and then have a chance for that game in hand to have them pull further clear. But whether that happens or not, I don't know. So I just get back, like Jacob said, we've got to focus on ourselves. We've got games coming up that we should be winning pretty comfortably or at least getting 3 points from.
Right, okay. I noticed down here we're down to 7th and we're actually below Accrington, and no disrespect to Accrington, but like I say, I look at the table and it's a game in hand. So Ipswich top with 13 points. We are on 8 points. So basically, when we win our game in hand, then we're going to be, we'll just be 2 points off top. So, Michael?
Also, I forgot to mention, because although Ipswich are top, Ipswich have had a pretty kind start to the season in terms of fixtures as well. I think they've had Wigan, Bristol Rovers, Rochdale, MK Dons, Blackpool. And, as much as obviously you have to play everybody twice, I would still argue we've had one of, if not the hardest start in terms of fixtures out of a lot of other teams. So, I think we'll wait down the road to see when we come up against the teams that Ipswich have faced, that Hull have faced. So, and then you think, right, it might balance itself out a bit then. I think because Sunderland at the minute are averaging 2 points per game, I don't think Sunderland need to be that great this year to get promoted. I honestly think the league, I think with the exception of goalkeeper, I don't think Sunderland's weakened. I think a lot of the league has weakened. So if Sunderland maintain a level of consistency, then in theory that should be enough. But Sunderland are Sunderland.
Fair points about we've had a harder run in. Shaun, you trying to get in there?
As Mike was saying about the tables as well, I mean, let's be honest, all of us, Lincoln's not going to be in the top 6. Gillingham's not going to be in the top 6. And Atwin's not, and Dino knocked the nail on the head early on. The tables, I mean, we're only 5 games in. It's not, I don't really take much notice of the tables this early on in the season. It's when you get to the business end of the season, that's when you start looking at it and see, oh, these are looking good, these are looking good. End of the day, there's a lot of dodgy results going around at the start, but when it gets into the last 10, 15 matches of the season, that's when you'll see who's going to be in and around the top 6.
Right. Before we bring you in there, Dino, are you a joiner?
No, why?
He said you hit the nail on the head. Right, go on. You're trying to get in there. Shit, Jones. Shit,
I
Jones.
think
That's what I do. That's what.
we need to stop thinking the way, like Shaun just said, he doesn't think Lincoln and Gillingham will be up there. Let's remember Leicester City were in the same position, top of the league, when then when the Premier, everyone was saying they'll fall away, they won't win it, they'll fall away, go back to where they were. Don't kid yourself. If them keep consistent in winning games, they'll be up there. I know, like, they might have not played the hardest teams and stuff like that, but remember what happened with Leicester. Everyone was writing them off.
Leicester had some world-class players, Kante, Vardy. That's some really good.
But don't forget, in League One though, it's not always about quality. It's about how hard you work in this league. If a team works harder than your team, you're probably going to win.
Well, to be fair though, Dino, I mean, you're saying that because they said, Lincoln won't be there, Gillingham won't be there, Accrington won't be there, and you're saying, well, look at Leicester. But then you've also said just earlier there, you said that it's too early to look at the league. Really, so
yeah, it's too early to look at the league as in like the bottom threes and like who's going to go up.
Right,
but
okay.
You've still got to look at the teams who are winning games right now,
right.
And if Lincoln keep it up and Gillingham and they can do. I mean, this league isn't about really equality; it's about how hard the other team's going to work, who wants it more. This league isn't full of quality. It's got quality players, but it's not always full of quality. It's about who's going to work the hardest, who's the fittest, who wants it.
Do you honestly believe that Gillingham, Atwood and Lincoln will be in the top 6 coming in this season? Yes or no?
Come to top 6. I'm not going to say no because you never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
That's my point. They will not be in the top 6. I guarantee you. They'll not be in the top 6.
Right.
Well, that's fair enough.
I'll come to you in a sec. Michael, I just want to say about Wigan. You mentioned Wigan. Of course, my hometown of Wigan have been the funny team at the moment. And that I've got a tattoo. I've got me Wigan. I've got my Made in Wigan tattoo just on my shoulder. And they've been up and down, and they bust my coupon yesterday because I just thought they would do it against Crewe, but didn't. Before I go to you, Michael, quickly on the chat. Kaelan Allen says it would change his name to Trinidad Mackham because it's easier to pronounce. Yeah, if you don't mind, that would help me out a lot. Callum Knight says Simon Grayson, the worst Sunderland manager to managers like closely followed by.
I would say Grayson and Ross, mind.
Howard Wilkinson.
Sergeant Wilco.
He touched something.
Well, he's saying closely followed by David Moyes. Right, Michael, you trying to get in there?
Yeah, he made me blood ball there thinking about David Moyes. Oh God, that was Scottish so. Anyway, yeah, I do think that Lincoln. I'm not surprised about Gillingham actually. I think Gillingham are. I did say I think Gillingham could be a dark horse this season. I think Lincoln are overperforming at the moment, but let's remember 2 years ago when we first fell into League One, did anyone expect Luton to get promoted? Last season, did anyone expect Wycombe to get promoted? There's quite a few.
Wycombe don't count. Them shouldn't have never got promoted.
Not to play on.
Never got promoted.
As much as everybody like the way they went up, they ultimately still got promoted.
Fucking default though, mate. Let's be honest, it wasn't too hard.
How many points will they get this season?
In League One history?
What are the odds of going to be a bunch of Wycombe fans watching this that are not going to be pretty?
Referees trying to get in.
By the way,
didn't deserve to go.
Sean,
sorry.
Sean, was that French you were speaking?
Laissez combattant.
Right. On the chat, Taffy Mackham says the results are being affected by no crowds. We will get onto that. Wayne Duran says Burton lost Nigel Clough, which shows what a good job was being done by him, which is a fair shout. Dino did say it's probably a bit early to be looking at the leagues, so that's a question. Is it too early? The bookies have now made Sunderland, they've cut our odds from 7-1 favourites at the start of the season, and they've now cut them to 4-1. Should we look into that, or should we just ignore that? Mad Mistake, do you want to come in on that?
I want to first of all by saying Wycombe deserved to get promoted because they were in the playoffs. They won the semi-finals, 2 legs. They won the final. So Wycombe.
Dean and Shaun are going to come at it.
That phase full stop. Anybody who denies Wycombe won't get promoted are fools, absolute fools. They're in a 4-team playoff and they beat the 4 teams. They beat the 3 teams hands down. They deserve to get promotion.
Voted not to play on though.
Good enough to go up last season. Wycombe deserved to get promoted. Full stop. Simple
they refused to play it because they knew due to the points per game system they would leapfrog from 7th or 8th, what it was, to 3rd.
Yes.
So if that wasn't Wycombe's fault.
Yes, but yes, but Shaun, any team in that position, if we'd have been in Wycombe's position, we would have done exactly the same as what Wycombe did. We would have done it. Yes, you can say it's not fair, but every team in our division voted for themselves.
Well, that's on the EFL.
Yeah,
the EFL should never let that happen. If them says you don't want to play the rest of the season, you can't play the playoffs.
Well, we would have done the same. We would have done exactly the same if we'd been in that position.
Absolute bollocks. End of the day, I congratulate Wycombe getting promoted. Full stop. Anybody who denies Wycombe promotion, sour grapes. Absolute sour grapes. Shame on you all. Wycombe with the best promoted.
Well, to be fair, I agree with the mad mistake.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No,
Rubbish.
Honestly, it did.
Awful.
Wycombe got promoted, but they're getting relegated the first season, so that's all right.
Well, fair enough.
They'll get what's coming to them.
Right. Hang on, mad mistake before you come in, because Michael and Jake have been waiting to get in. Michael?
What was the question, Phil?
I'll come back to you. Michael?
I was loving that. That was great.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yours, I'm in between the two extremes. I do think that if you are in, the fact is, any team in Wycombe, whether it's right or wrong, any team in Wycombe's position would have done the same thing. The ultimate fault, like Dean said, lies with the EFL. That system was very, very flawed in the way that it was done. And I do actually, what I did agree with was that if you're saying you can't afford to finish the season, okay, you shouldn't be playing in the playoffs then. As simple as that for me. It's a blatant contradiction. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. We can't afford to play the rest of the season. Oh, but we can conveniently afford to play the playoffs. No,
you
can afford to play games, or you can't. That's just contradiction. Well, I would say, but ultimately, that's not Wycombe's problem. They're probably going to get relegated, but they got promoted. That's one of the biggest achievements in their history. And I would say a lot of Stirling fans again were very snobbish about Gareth Ainsworth. Got Wycombe promoted. It was arguably one of the weaker sides in League One history to get promoted. Arguably, not
Right, quickly, before I bring Jacob in, because I know you want to get in there, Jacob, I want to go to the live chat, and Taffy Mackham makes a great point here. When we went up to the old Division 1 due to Swindon and their financial irregularities, and we went up, he's saying, I bet Shaun didn't complain then.
Well, because that was because the financial can't say the word.
Regulation. Money on players, wasn't it?
They won that game fair and square in 1990. I mean, that was fair enough. But if you're cheating, which Swindon did, they cheated, then obviously they couldn't get promoted. They got found out they were cheating. So that's why we obviously in the end we went up instead of them.
It's totally different situations.
It is. It's totally different situations.
But Wycombe didn't cheat to go up.
Well, no, they didn't cheat, but
they exploited the system.
So what's the problem?
They exploited the system.
They refused to play
it. That's the system more than it is, to be fair.
So before I bring Jacob in, the one question I want to ask Dino and Shaun, right? So if Sunderland had been in that position where Wycombe are and had voted the same way, would you have not been happy then? Because Sunderland had voted to finish the season and not play anymore, and then it ended up with a playoff place and ultimately going up to the championship. Would you have objected to that? Would you? Any one of you?
Yes, I would have objected, because you know what, we'll be in the same situation as Wycombe is now, getting smashed every single week and then getting relegated again.
Listen.
We would have attracted better players than Wycombe.
I'm not talking about the championship.
Michael? Who would we have signed?
No, listen.
Off the top, yeah, but it doesn't mean we wouldn't have signed any decent players.
Listen,
Come on.
I'm not talking about how we would have done in the Championship. I'm just saying if we'd have been in that position and we'd have gone up, by you complaining that it wasn't
guess
fair
what,
to
though,
Wycombe.
Philly? But guess what? We weren't. So that question's irrelevant.
Oh, right.
We weren't in that position.
No, you can't get out.
Would you be happy in? No.
We weren't in that position.
The argument.
Nah.
We weren't in that position, so we can't really say yes or no. But the fact is, Wycombe exploited the system.
The point was, we can't expect Wycombe to say, "Oh no, we don't want to get promoted. We don't want to have a chance at the playoffs." You can't expect Wycombe to say that, surely.
Because Sunderland would have done. Sunderland would have done.
The EFL admit, like, if you say you don't want to finish the season, but get in the playoffs, they should say no. You either want to. If they said yes, and then all the other teams said no, then fair enough. They said yes, they want to play the rest of the season. But they said no, knowing that more teams would say no than yes, and then them go in the playoffs.
They refusing to play because they knew by refusing to play, it would benefit them. They'd get into the playoffs and then have the chance to go up. Do you know what I mean?
All they had to do was say yes, we'll play the season, and then all the other teams would have said no, and then they would have got in the playoffs, and then I would have had no problem.
Right,
it's the fact they said no.
Right, listen. Before we go to the Mad Mistake who started all this off, Jacob's been waiting to get in for about the last hour. So, Jacob, what do you want to say? Better be good, mind. Better be good.
So my mouth stuffed with sweets. I'm just wondering what Akinfenwa was going to think of watching this. Like, he's not going to be fans of us. So,
well, I'm not gonna tell him. I'm not gonna tell him he was wrong. Right. So,
this is proper.
Mad mistake. Mad mistake.
Wycombe exploited the situation. At the end of the day, I'm a big enough person to say, well done, Wycombe. I wish you all the best in the Championship.
I just think at the end of the day, we would have done exactly the same in their position. And had we done that and gone up, nobody would have been complaining about it like you're complaining about it now.
It's not been it's not been about bitter. It's not been about bitter or like, you know, being tapping things. End of the day, it's just the way they went around it. I'll congratulate anybody. I'm not a nasty person. I don't hate many people. But the way Wycombe, the way they done that, and the way they went around the system, I just didn't like it, and I cannot give them any credit and congratulate them. Like, end of the day, and I think what's that say, karma? Well, it'll happen to them. Obviously, they're getting promoted. They'll get their up and comings, and they'll get relegated. So there you go.
Michael's trying to get in there.
Put it this way, I think ultimately, while I agree with that, it was very hypocritical that Wycombe can't afford to finish the regular season but can afford the playoffs. At the end of the day, the main fault was with the EFL and the system, for me, not Wycombe Wanderers.
Right, well, before we go to you, Mad Mistake, on the live chat, I'm massive fan of Taffy Mackham, especially when he says, spot on, wee Philly. Yes, I know I'm right, because had it been us, had it been Sunderland and done that, then nobody would have said a word and it would have been all right. And what you would have found is some Wycombe Wanderers YouTube channel somewhere in the world will have been having a discussion on a Sunday night complaining at how Sunderland were cheats and stuff like that. And that's what will be going on. Just a sec, hang on. And also Nigel Dunn, another friend of the show down here, said, have you noticed that a lot of the turn up of fans on here are fans of the Mad Mistake, which we know, and we love him, and we get all these fans on here as well. So go on, Dino, quickly, then we'll go to Mad Mistake.
For me, the team who deserved to be in the playoffs more than them were Peterborough. Peterborough got robbed. I mean, there was teams who deserved to be in the playoffs more than us. I mean, it was just the fact Wycombe didn't deserve to be there. That's what gets me. They didn't deserve it. They were up there at one stage and they dropped. And Peterborough I just felt Peterborough got robbed.
Well, if Wycombe didn't deserve to be there, then how did that point system work? Because obviously, what they did earlier in the season is what made them, what resulted in them being in the position they was.
Look at the ifs and buts. So if we won Was it Bristol Rovers or was it the Gillingham game when we conceded the last minute?
Bristol Rovers, yeah. If we beat Gillingham Bristol Rovers, we would top 2 on points per game.
But like
And
you
then
said,
we'll be in there.
but like you said, Dino, it's all irrelevant because that didn't happen. So there you go.
But then we're in the playoff position at the time.
Billy, why did the Championship and the Premier League get played out? Why is the League 1, League 2 going to be defined on a stupid, pathetic, useless, gutless points per game system? That is fucking pathetic.
Lad.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Why did the games not get played out?
Right, listen,
let him carry on.
right, listen. Just before we go into the mad mistake, Thane says on the live chat, we can never mention Wycombe Wanderers on this stream ever again. Terry, what do you want to say, mate?
2 things. Sunderland fans get robbed every season. We get robbed every season with people like Stuart Donald in charge, right? And some people are more bitter than John Smiths. There we go.
Right. Right. Listen. On the chat here, Taffy Mackham says 35 minutes now on last season's playoffs. We've done Andrew Adey. Andrew Adey says the fixtures which Peterborough had left were relatively easy, which is probably even more a kick in the teeth for them. Taffy Mackham says, if my auntie had bollocks, she'd be my uncle.
Sean's dying here. Are you okay?
He's absolutely gone.
Right.
Sean, do you think Wycombe deserve to get promoted? And then
let's move away from that now. I'm sick of it now.
Right, listen. Wayne Duran says, love it, mad mistake. Because you've caused anarchy on here. Jacob Aviard says, will we be up by Easter? Yes, we will be up by Easter. That's the answer to one of your questions. And will we win another trophy in our cabinet? We probably won't win a trophy because we're not very good at winning trophies. Unless, of course,
EFL
trophy. Leeson.com trophy.
Unless it's the League One title, we'll take that trophy, I suppose.
No,
right. Have we finished on Wycombe now? Because we'll have to put this this live stream out to the Wycombe fans because I'm sure they'll like to see our views. Well, Shaun and Dino's views on it. Right.
Oh, he can bugger off.
The thing is me and the mad mistake will be welcome down in Wycombe. However, Dino and Shaun, you'll be barred from the.
When we go up and them go down, we won't have that issue.
We'll pass them on the M1, the A1, yeah.
Right. All right.
Jacob, you're staying at home. Me and Jacob will stay at home. It's all right.
Right.
Next season.
Right. We're probably not going to get everything in now because we're running out of time. But one thing I did want to mention earlier on the live chat, Gary Talbot said, "Have we got any news on the takeover?" Not really. It's gone very quiet. However, there was an interesting Conrad, who's our editor down here. One of his mates, Jeff Turner, put on Twitter about William Storey. And, why we should not dismiss his claims. Everybody laughs him out and has him down as a joker. And to quote him on Twitter, he said, the club could make him look really silly with one press release, right? That is the only reason I think there's something in it. So he thinks there's something in it. And he's saying if it is real and it doesn't happen, he doesn't think William Storey will hold back on Twitter. He'll spill the beans on it all. And I thought when I saw that was a very good point. The club could actually make him look an absolute joke by saying, he's a fantasist and whatever, and do that press release. And the fact they haven't done that, I keep saying every time I hear him speak, I'm impressed with what he says, and whether I'm gullible or whatever, but I always finish by saying, what if he is the real deal? People are dismissing him. So when I saw that, I thought it was a fair point. I'd like to get your views on it. Michael?
It actually would. I actually think Jeff made a very good point there. And let's not forget, Nick Barnes was saying that apparently those at the club were, according to Nick Barnes, those at Sunderland allegedly don't see William Storey as a creditable buyer. Well, if that's the case, then why don't they come out and say it? Now, quite a few people have said Nick Barnes has been sold a false story. That actually could be true, you know. There could be something in that then, if that's the case. So, to be honest, I'm bored of the whole takeover thing. It's gone on for months. I'm starting to think it's not going to happen. So, I'm just bored of it. I want to focus on the football personally.
Right, fair enough. STFC Rivers says Jacob the Gunner makes a good point. Apparently, Jack Dodds says Jack Dodds.
That's a good job. I like that. I like that one.
Jack Dodds asked the question: how is the resident Gooner? Jacob.
Oh, bless him.
Jacob,
Jack's a funny lad.
Sorry.
He's doing relatively all right, but I'm quite hungry. I'm looking forward to having me dinner.
All right. David Walker says still no chairman. So we'll go to you, Jacob. William Storey and Jeff Turner's quote on Twitter. What he put.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think right now, though, I think I agree what Michael's saying. I think that we can't look to build on like takeover talks until we know what division we're in, and it looks like it's going to be next year. I think for now, I think it will be on hold, which I think is a good thing, because I think we need to just purely focus on what's going on the pitch. But then again, we do need investment in that squad for January. It would just be I just fear that Donald will not give any money towards that, to be honest. But at the same time, us Sunderland fans, we sort of expected that. You know, I'd be very surprised if Stuart Donald does put any pennies in going into the January transfer window. So right now, I think everything just needs to be put aside until next year for me.
Right. Is that me echoing again?
Yeah, I think it is.
Hang on a second. I do apologize. How do I sound now?
Fine.
Is my sexy voice back again?
Oh, not this
all right, Batman.
Good. Right. Just very quickly on the chat, Andrew Robbins, who is a serial online shopper, one of the guys I deliver me parcels to when I'm out 6 days a week, grafting my fingers to the bone.
Right,
he says, I don't think there is a takeover, but Donald needs to go for the club to progress. Shame Shaun's having a number 2. He would have liked that one. Jason Ashman says on the chat, William Storey is a fraud. End of. Yes, but Jason, what if he's not? You know? So, you know, I mean, now it's all right. You know, people can come on here and say he's a fraud, but you've got to back it up with something. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you've got to have substance in you know, in what you're saying. Thane says, from what he's hearing, it sounds like talks are still ongoing, and but they're not that advanced, because he said new parties could be coming in for talks now. Again, we've heard it all before. You know, what do you believe? So, Shaun, now that you're back from your number 2 in your pink shorts, William Storey and that tweet was put up by Jeff Turner. What are your views on it?
Well, if you can recall, Nick Barnes said on the radio a few weeks ago that the takeover was going really well. That it was with the EFL checks now. Yeah, that was 3 or 4 weeks ago, I believe. So that said, if it's with the EFL checks, then it shouldn't be too long now before there's a confirmation. Do you know what I mean? But then William Storey has come out and said, I think it was a tweet, not last night, it was a few days ago. He was saying he's trying his best, and a deal will be imminent. But he's been saying it for the last few weeks, and unfortunately, but it's to me, it's. Do you believe him? There's a lot of people who don't believe him. They say it's a PR stunt and all this, but I mean, I agree with you, Philly, what you said earlier on. I think he comes across really well when he talks about his vision for the club. what he wants to do. The people who he can't mention the people involved, obviously, because of the end of the year. But he did say on his tweets. Sorry.
Right. Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Sorry, are they sour grapes you're eating? All right, that's
Just
well,
like me, very sweet.
Thane on the chat. Thane on the chat says, Shaun, he likes your PlayStation chair. He's loving your chair. That's it. But apparently, he says he loves your shorts. Loves your shorts better.
He's got an Xbox. He's got an Xbox. I don't know why he's got that.
Taffy Mackham says to everybody, if you're watching now, can you just hit the like button, please? Give us a thumbs up. And at that point, we will ask you, we're trying to get our subscribers up. So if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button as well. We're only 66 subscribers away from 4,000, which, excuse me, would be nice when we hit that. Callum Knight, we Philly for chairman. I'd take the chairman's job all day. Dino.
Hello.
William Storey and Jeff Turner's tweet on Twitter.
Well, what you were saying before, saying that what if you every time you hear him, he speaks well and he's starting to convince you and stuff. But we've had all this before with Stuart Donald.
I agree.
He was speaking the way everyone liked the way he was speaking. Everyone was like, "Oh, I've got high hopes," and look what happened. So it's not about how he speaks. Like, anyone can talk bullshit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And sound good saying it. It's you've got to show actions. Yeah, you've got to show the actions.
You've got to walk the walk. I agree with you, and I agree. You know, we've heard it all from Stuart Donald before. However, I do think in the first season, Stuart Donald did a decent job. It just didn't work out for him, and he didn't have the money then to carry it on to a second season. So, you know, I agree. You know, we have had it before from Stuart Donald, but until I see otherwise, you know, I'll make my own mind up. And for me, I like the way William Storey talks. Mad mistake.
Right, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Wayne Doran, who says Stuart Donald won't sell. And I agree with that. He won't sell by being League One at this moment in time this season.
Donald's got some.
You know, everyone deserves a chance. You can't say people are fake and this, that, and the other. I believe in everybody. I give everybody a chance in life, right? Everyone deserves a chance. William Storey, if he comes in, he deserves the opportunity until he proves people wrong. So he walks the walk. Let's hope he talks the talk. Donald talked the talk the first season, but didn't have the money to back him up. He didn't have the vision or anybody to supply him with the cash to do better in the second season. And for me, he probably won't even. I mean, I want us to get promoted this season, and I've backed Sunderland to get promoted this season. But in my heart of hearts, I still think we're going to fall short. I still think Donald isn't the man to take us in the championship. And he's, honest to God, he's dying. He's praying with every god under the sun to get us promoted this season so he can make a fortune from the championship. So I agree with Wayne. Wayne from Twitter, good shout. I believe Stuart won't sell until we're in the championship.
Right, okay. Very quickly, because we've got to wrap it up now. On the chat, Thane says, very controversial PlayStation chair, but Xbox player. Naughty, Shaun. Naughty. I don't get it because I'm too old. I didn't play all them things. I don't know what the rivalry is. Michael Fish, Shaun Middleton's disco pants. Well, they are. They are the best. It does just about wrap it up from us. Quickly want to tell you that this afternoon, Jacob did an interview with Matty former Sunderland player. So watch out for that. That should be on our channel tomorrow, I would imagine. So watch out for the Matty Piper interview, which Jacob did today. John 084, I think Karen should be on the panel.
She there, is she?
Seriously, Karen's disgusting. You don't want on. She would just she would have us banned for a week. Right, that just about wraps it up then. Thanks for joining us. Oh, you want it in there, Mad Mistake?
Yeah, I just want to give Jacob a big shout out. Well done, Jacob Kirkbride, for getting all these good ex-Sunderland players on interviews. Well done, lad.
Well
There you
done.
go. Round of applause for Jacob. Well done. All right. So, Jacob, the Arsenal fan. Right.
Fine, Jacob.
Yeah,
first.
that wraps it up from us. We will be back on Thursday night. I don't know, Shaun and Dino, are you at work?
I'm at work. I'm not.
Dino,
No, I'm not at work. I've gone a week off.
all right, okay. So so we'll be back. We'll have somebody standing in for Shaun. We'll be back on Thursday night, looking ahead to Saturday's game against Swindon Town. We're doing that. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, please subscribe. If you already have, tell your friends. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the year. So from myself, wee Philly, from the man with the sour grapes, the Mad Mistake, from Tino, from Jacob Kirkbride, from Shaun Middleton and Michael Bowers, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you all again. When we're going to see them? Oh yeah, Thursday.
Thursday.
See you then. Bye-bye.